Many people wait for the right moment to feel confident. They think, once I succeed, then I'll feel confident. But the secret is, confidence doesn't come after success. Confidence is what helps you reach success. It is built step by step, and it often starts with small, intentional actions you take every single day. Today, I want to share 5 simple habits that can help you build strong, lasting self-confidence. But first, let's focus on the foundation, the first 2 habits that will start you on this powerful journey. Habit 1, start writing your thoughts, daily journaling. The first habit is very simple but very effective. Write down your thoughts every day. Yes, just pick up a notebook or open a blank document and spend 5 minutes a day writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just be honest. Write about your day. What went well? What didn't go as planned? What did you learn? How did you feel? Did you try something new? Were you proud of anything you did today, even something small? When you write things down, you become more aware of yourself. This habit helps you understand your feelings instead of ignoring them. You start to recognize your patterns, your fears, your strengths, and your progress. Journaling gives you space to reflect, to be kind to yourself, and to see how far you've come. It's like building a mirror that reflects your growth, and that builds confidence. You begin to notice that even on difficult days, you still moved forward. You still tried. And that effort, that's where confidence is born. So, start today. Just 5 minutes. Make it part of your bedtime routine. Over time, you'll feel the shift in how you think and feel about yourself. Habit 2, improve your body language. Stand like you mean it. The second habit is all about how you carry yourself, your body language. Confidence isn't only about what you think, it's also about what your body shows. Even before you say a word, your body tells the world how you feel inside. That's why posture, eye contact, your voice, and the way you move all matter. When you slouch, avoid eye contact, or speak too quietly, you may be sending a message that you doubt yourself, even if that's not what you mean. But when you stand tall, look people in the eye, speak clearly, and smile, you begin to feel more confident just by doing those things. Science backs this up. Studies show that changing your posture can actually shift your mood and mindset. So, here's something simple to try. Each morning, stand in front of the mirror for 2 minutes. Practice standing tall, shoulders back, chin up, look yourself in the eye, smile, say something positive about yourself out loud. It may feel strange at first, but give it time. You're not pretending. You're training your body and mind to believe in you. Also, when you're talking to someone, pay attention to how you sit or stand. Show up with energy. Confidence grows when your actions align with your intention, and body language is where that connection begins. Now that you've started with the foundation, writing your thoughts daily and improving your body language, it's time to go further. Confidence isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. What you do consistently matters more than what you do occasionally. And when you surround yourself with supportive habits, you begin to see a shift in how you think, act, and speak. The third habit that can really help grow your self-confidence is taking small challenges regularly. Think of it like strength training for your mindset. Just like your muscles grow when you lift a little more weight over time, your confidence grows when you step slightly out of your comfort zone again and again. You don't have to take massive steps. Start small, speak up in a group conversation where you usually stay quiet. Try something new at work or in your personal routine. Say yes to a task that feels just a little uncomfortable. The key is consistency, not perfection. Each time you try something new, no matter how small, you send a message to yourself. I can do this. I may not be perfect, but I am capable. The more you do this, the stronger your inner voice becomes, and that voice is the root of confidence. The fourth habit is closely connected to how you talk to yourself. This is something most people never notice, but it has one of the biggest effects on self-confidence, your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself, especially in your thoughts, shapes how you feel. If you often say things like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, or I'll probably fail, your confidence gets weaker over time. But if you become more aware and choose a different inner dialogue, everything changes. Start by catching those negative thoughts when they happen. You don't have to be harsh about it. Just notice them and choose a different statement. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I'm still learning and I'm improving every day. Instead of, they're better than me, say, I'm on my own path and I'm growing at my pace. This is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about being encouraging to yourself the way you would be to a friend. Your mind believes what you tell it repeatedly. So make sure your words support your growth. Talk to yourself with respect, with honesty, and with belief in your potential. Over time, that internal support becomes a source of real, unshakable confidence. The fifth habit is one that's often overlooked, but it's essential. Surrounding yourself with positive environments and people. Confidence doesn't grow in isolation. The people you interact with every day affect how you see yourself. If you're always around criticism, negativity, or comparison, it becomes much harder to believe in your abilities. But when you spend time with people who uplift you, who believe in you, and who support your efforts, you naturally start to feel stronger and more secure. This doesn't mean you need to cut people off, but it does mean becoming mindful about where your energy goes. Choose relationships that encourage your growth. Find communities, online or offline, that help you learn, take action, and feel accepted. Create a physical space around you that feels calm, clean, and inspiring. Even small things like the books you read, the content you watch, and the conversations you have each day shape your mindset. So choose wisely. Make your environment a place where confidence can grow, not shrink. When you surround yourself with positive energy, it reflects back into how you carry yourself and what you believe is possible. These 5 habits together form a powerful system. They're simple, yes, but they require your attention and commitment. There is no shortcut to real self-confidence, but these habits are the path. When you write your thoughts, you get clarity. When you carry yourself well, you begin to show the strength that's already within you. When you take on small challenges, you grow your belief step by step. When you change your self-talk, you stop being your own critic and become your own supporter. And when you build a strong environment, you create the space where confidence can thrive. You don't need to be loud to be confident. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up for yourself day by day. There will be days when you doubt yourself. That's normal. Confidence doesn't mean never feeling fear. It means moving forward even when you do. Trust your process. Keep practicing the habits. Let them become part of your routine. Confidence will follow, not as a sudden spark, but as a steady flame that keeps getting stronger. You're not here to compare. You're here to grow, and you already have what it takes. Start from where you are. Use what you have and do what you can. The rest will come. This is the heart of self-confidence. It doesn't depend on what the world thinks of you. It depends on what you believe about yourself. The secret no one tells you is that most people you admire today also started with doubts. They also questioned themselves. But they didn't wait for the perfect moment or someone else's approval. They took one step, then another. And that's how confidence is built. Not through magic, but through momentum. The real secret is this: confidence grows every time you act in the face of fear, not when you avoid it. Every time you speak when your voice shakes, every time you try even when you're unsure, you are training your mind to believe in your own strength. Confidence is not loud, it is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. It is not about always being right, but about being okay even when you're not. Another powerful truth about self-confidence is that it multiplies your potential. A confident person doesn't necessarily know more or have more, but what they do have is the belief that they can figure it out. That belief opens doors. It gives you the courage to apply for the opportunity, to ask the question, to speak in the room, to stand up for yourself. Confidence transforms effort into achievement and mistakes into learning. It's the fuel that helps you keep going when results don't come immediately. Without it, even the most talented people hold back. But with it, even average efforts begin to shine. This is the power of self-confidence. It amplifies everything else you do. It lifts your energy, your voice, your presence. It makes people want to listen to you, trust you, and follow your ideas, not because you're perfect, but because you believe in what you bring. And perhaps the most beautiful part of confidence is that it's contagious. When you carry yourself with honesty, humility, and strength, people around you feel it. You start to inspire without trying. Others feel safer, more open, and more encouraged by your presence. Your confidence creates space for others to rise too. This is why real confidence is never about ego. It doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't look down on anyone. It lifts not just you, but everyone around you. That's the secret great leaders, creators, and change makers know. They build confidence not just for themselves, but for their teams, their families, and their communities. And you can do the same. You don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You can be that light. So if you're listening to this and thinking, can I really build confidence like that? The answer is yes, 100% yes. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to return to who you really are before fear, doubt, and comparison got in the way. That version of you, full of potential, curiosity, courage, is still there. And through daily habits, kind thoughts, bold actions, and honest reflection, you'll uncover that version again. That is the real secret. Self-confidence isn't found, it's remembered. It's already in you. You just have to believe it, build it, and let it rise. When you start living with self-confidence, the world begins to respond differently. You no longer chase approval because your actions now come from a place of inner belief. You become more focused, more at peace, and more courageous. Not because everything is easy, but because you finally trust yourself to handle both success and failure. You start living life on your own terms, not driven by fear or pressure, but led by purpose and clarity. Confidence doesn't mean you'll never feel doubt again. It just means that doubt no longer controls your decisions. That is true freedom. Confidence is also deeply connected to self-respect. When you follow through on your promises to yourself, when you speak your truth with kindness, when you stand up for what you believe, your inner respect grows. And that inner respect becomes the foundation for lasting confidence. It no longer matters what others say or think about you because you know who you are. You've spent time understanding yourself. You've faced challenges and grown from them. You've made mistakes and learned instead of giving up. That journey, with all its ups and downs, makes your confidence real. Not borrowed, not fake, but earned deeply and honestly. If there's one message to leave you with, it's this: confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you create. Every small step you take, writing your thoughts, standing tall, speaking up, taking on small challenges, talking to yourself with kindness, building a better environment, all of it adds up. Some days, the change will feel small. Other days, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. The journey is not always fast, but it is always worth it. Don't let fear delay your progress. Don't let comparison silence your voice. You are allowed to believe in yourself. In fact, you must, because no one else can walk your path the way you can. So take a deep breath, look at where you are, and begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Let confidence be your companion. Let it grow quietly and steadily, one habit at a time. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Because the strongest confidence isn't about being someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are. And that person is more than enough. When you begin the journey of building real self-confidence, something powerful starts to shift. Not only in how you see the world, but in how the world responds to you. People are drawn to those who move with quiet strength and purpose. But more importantly, you begin to attract opportunities that match your belief. You stop shrinking yourself to fit others' expectations. You no longer wait to feel ready because you understand that readiness is built through action, not waiting. With every step forward, your inner voice gets louder, clearer, and more supportive. Confidence gives you the permission to grow at your own pace. It allows you to accept that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every setback becomes a stepping stone instead of a stop sign. You become the kind of person who doesn't run from difficulty but grows through it. And slowly, without needing to prove anything, you become your own source of courage. There is another truth about confidence that people rarely talk about, and that is the deep sense of peace it brings. When you trust yourself, you stop constantly overthinking every decision. You no longer look to others to tell you who you are or what you should do. You begin to move from a calm place inside, even when everything outside feels uncertain. This doesn't mean you stop asking for advice or learning from others. It just means your foundation is within, not outside. That inner peace becomes your strength. You don't react to everything, you respond. You don't need to argue to feel important. Your presence already carries weight. You don't need to impress, you express. This kind of quiet confidence isn't loud or dramatic. It's steady and consistent. It helps you stay grounded during tough times and grateful during good ones. And most importantly, it helps you enjoy the journey instead of constantly chasing the next milestone. Confidence also deepens your relationships, not because it makes you perfect, but because it helps you show up more honestly. When you're confident, you're not afraid to be seen. You're not hiding your flaws or pretending to be someone you're not. You're more open to connection because you're not living in fear of judgment. You're more forgiving, more patient, more present, because your worth doesn't depend on what others do or don't give you. Confidence helps you speak your truth calmly, to set boundaries without guilt, and to listen without needing to defend yourself. It gives you the strength to walk away from what doesn't align with your values, not with anger, but with clarity. In every relationship, with family, with friends, with your partner, and most importantly, with yourself, confidence creates space for authenticity, growth, and trust. It's the foundation of mutual respect. And once you have that, every part of life becomes more meaningful. At its core, self-confidence is not about being fearless. It's about learning how to live with fear and still move forward. It's about choosing yourself every day, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one claps, even when the path is unclear. It's about building a deep relationship with your own mind, so that when things get quiet, you don't panic. You feel safe with your own thoughts. That's real power, the kind that doesn't depend on praise or perfection, the kind that can't be taken away by someone else's opinion. Confidence is not a final destination, it's a daily decision. You don't arrive at confidence. You grow into it every time you rise after a fall, every time you speak even when you're nervous, every time you take action in the face of doubt. And over time, you become someone unshakable, not because you never struggle, but because you've learned how to keep going no matter what. That is the kind of confidence that changes not just your path, but your entire life. Once you've built that unshakable base of self-confidence, the way you see life itself starts to evolve. What once felt out of reach begins to feel possible. You no longer wait for permission to chase your goals. You start creating your own path. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become easier because now you trust your instincts. You know that even if something doesn't work out, you'll learn and adjust. That kind of mental freedom is priceless. You stop fearing failure and start understanding that failure is feedback. Every risk you take, every step you choose outside of the familiar becomes an act of growth. And because you've already faced self-doubt and continued anyway, your future starts to feel exciting instead of frightening. Confidence gives you vision, a clearer view of who you are and where you're going. You stop being controlled by the fear of what if and start living in the truth of why not me. With this shift, something else starts to happen. You begin to dream bigger, not because you suddenly have all the answers, but because you finally believe you're allowed to want more. You give yourself permission to imagine a future that's not limited by your past. Confidence invites you to think long-term, to build, to lead, to create, to serve, not just for survival, but for meaning. You stop settling for less than you deserve because you now know your value. You're no longer held back by the idea that you have to earn the right to believe in yourself. You understand that confidence is not about having everything figured out. It's about showing up, doing your best, and trusting that you'll grow along the way. That mindset unlocks creativity, courage, and the drive to do things you never thought possible. And the best part, once you reach this stage, your growth starts to inspire others to grow too. Self-confidence also brings a powerful sense of purpose. Once you stop doubting your voice, you start to use it for something greater. You begin to ask deeper questions, not just what do I want, but what do I want to give? You realize that your story, your struggles, your journey, they can actually help someone else. Confidence transforms pain into purpose and experience into wisdom. You start showing up not just to prove yourself, but to serve with honesty and impact. Whether it's in your work, your relationships, your community, or your personal mission, you bring energy, focus, and clarity. You're no longer chasing success just for the title or recognition. You're building a life that feels right from the inside out. That's what confidence does. It connects your heart and your actions. It helps you make choices that align with your values instead of just reacting to pressure. You become someone who lives with direction, not distraction. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, self-confidence allows you to experience life more fully. You stop holding back. You laugh louder, love deeper, take more chances. You stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you enjoy yourself. You begin to live now, not someday. You make peace with your past, appreciate your present, and look forward to your future, not with fear, but with strength. Confidence doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you become stronger, wiser, and more prepared to meet it, whatever it brings. You handle criticism without losing your worth. You face change without losing your center, and you move forward always because you now believe in your ability to rise. And the truth is, when you fully believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. Not in the sense of always winning, but in the deeper sense that nothing can keep you down for long. That's what real confidence gives you. Not perfection, but power. The power to live your truth, the power to keep going, and the power to rise again and again as the strongest version of yourself. As self-confidence deepens, you start to notice changes in your daily life that feel subtle but powerful. The small moments, like making a choice without second guessing or sharing your opinion without hesitation, become sources of strength. Confidence shows up in the way you greet the day, how you handle setbacks, and even in the way you treat yourself. When you trust yourself, you stop procrastinating out of fear. Instead, you take action because you believe your efforts matter. You become less afraid of judgment and more focused on progress. These everyday decisions build momentum that carries over into bigger areas of your life. What once felt impossible or scary now feels within reach because you're learning to trust the process. It's not about being perfect every day, but about showing up fully and honestly, even when you don't feel your best. This ongoing commitment to yourself is where real confidence lives and grows. Decision-making also becomes clearer and more empowering as confidence grows. When you're unsure of yourself, every choice can feel overwhelming, filled with what-ifs and doubts. But as your confidence builds, you learn to listen more closely to your intuition and values. You become better at setting boundaries and saying no when something doesn't align with your goals or well-being. This doesn't mean you never face tough decisions. Everyone does. But your approach shifts from fear-driven hesitation to calm, thoughtful action. Confidence gives you the clarity to weigh your options without being paralyzed by worry. It helps you trust that even if you make a mistake, you have the strength to learn and adjust. This freedom from constant self-doubt opens the door to creativity, problem-solving, and greater resilience. It allows you to move forward without getting stuck in endless analysis paralysis. Personal growth also accelerates when self-confidence is part of your foundation. Confidence encourages you to seek out new experiences and challenges, not because you're fearless, but because you believe you can handle whatever comes your way. It turns failure into feedback and setbacks into lessons. Instead of avoiding discomfort, you learn to embrace it as a sign of growth. This mindset shift is one of the most powerful gifts of confidence. It frees you from the trap of perfectionism and comparison, allowing you to focus on your own unique journey. You become more compassionate toward yourself, understanding that growth is messy and non-linear. With confidence, you develop patience with your progress, with others, and with life itself. You celebrate small wins and learn from mistakes without harsh judgment. This gentle but steady growth builds a strong foundation for lasting success and happiness. Ultimately, confidence is about owning your story, every part of it. It's about recognizing that your experiences, your struggles, and your triumphs all make you who you are. When you stop hiding your true self, you create space for genuine connection and fulfillment. You stop living to please others and start living to honor your own values and dreams. This kind of confidence is magnetic. It draws people in because it's real and relatable. It's not about being better than anyone else, but about being the best version of yourself. And when you live from this place of authenticity and courage, you unlock a life full of possibility, joy, and impact. That's the power of self-confidence. It changes not just how you see yourself, but how you live your life every single day. Building self-confidence is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong journey that requires patience, care, and consistent effort. Once you begin to feel more confident, it's important to nurture this feeling daily. This means being mindful of your inner dialogue and challenging the negative thoughts that try to sneak in. Confidence grows when you treat yourself with kindness and respect, the same way you would treat a close friend. Remember, self-confidence is less about grand gestures and more about the small, steady habits that affirm your worth and abilities. It's about celebrating your progress no matter how small and forgiving yourself when things don't go as planned. By making a habit of positive self-talk, gratitude, and reflection, you create an environment inside your mind where confidence can flourish. Like a garden, it needs regular watering, sunlight, and protection from weeds, the weeds being doubt, fear, and comparison. Another essential part of sustaining confidence is surrounding yourself with people who support and uplift you. Your environment plays a critical role in how you feel about yourself. When you spend time with those who believe in your potential and encourage your growth, you absorb that energy and it reinforces your confidence. On the other hand, if you're constantly around negativity, criticism, or people who diminish your worth, it becomes much harder to maintain your belief in yourself. This is why it's so important to choose your company wisely and set healthy boundaries. You don't need to cut everyone out who doubts you, but you do need to protect your mental space. Engage with mentors, friends, or communities that inspire you, challenge you to grow, and celebrate your wins. These connections create a safe place for you to practice confidence daily and remind you that you are not alone on this journey. Using your self-confidence for a greater purpose is another way to keep it alive and thriving. Confidence naturally grows when it's put into action, when you take the courage you've built and apply it towards something meaningful. This might mean sharing your story to help others who are struggling, leading a project you care about, or simply being honest and open in your relationships. The moment you use your confidence to serve others or create positive change, it multiplies. This is because purpose and confidence feed each other. Purpose gives confidence a direction, and confidence gives purpose the courage to move forward. When you live with purpose, you feel energized and aligned, and your confidence becomes more resilient. It is no longer fragile or dependent on external achievements, but rooted deeply in the impact you want to make in the world. This cycle of purpose and confidence creates a powerful momentum that propels you toward your goals and inspires those around you. Finally, the ultimate power of self-confidence lies in its ability to transform your entire experience of life. When you are confident, you become the author of your own story instead of a passenger reacting to circumstances. You start making choices that honor your values and dreams rather than conforming to what others expect. This freedom allows you to design a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. You handle challenges with grace because you believe in your ability to overcome them. You celebrate your uniqueness and stop comparing yourself to others. This shift opens doors to joy, peace, and deeper connections. Confidence empowers you to take risks, to say yes to opportunities, and to embrace change, all while staying true to who you are. In this way, confidence is not just a skill or a feeling. It is a way of living that brings freedom, strength, and endless possibility. Finally, self-confidence empowers you to make a positive impact beyond your immediate circle. When you trust yourself, you're more likely to take leadership roles, speak up for causes you believe in, and contribute your unique talents to the world. Confidence gives you the courage to face challenges and advocate for change, even when it's uncomfortable. It helps you stay committed to your values and vision, inspiring others to join you. This outward expression of confidence creates meaning and purpose that extends far beyond personal achievements. It connects you to something larger than yourself, fueling a sense of fulfillment and legacy. In this way, self-confidence becomes a source of power, not just for living well, but for making a difference, a true mark of its transformative strength.